No answer. We'll waste our time coming here.
Maybe we should have a little look inside anyway.
There's nobody home.
There is now.
Every once in a great while, a game comes along that completely changes a gamer's outlook on things. Whether it's the story, graphics, characters, or even the music that cultivates the player. When that happens, the game isn't a game any longer. It becomes something more. And for those of you that strive on story-driven games, seek no further, because I'm proud to say that I'm lucky enough to have experienced one of the greatest stories ever made of all time, and that's QuanticDream's Heavy Rain, which is exclusively for the PlayStation 3. Now, some would agree with me when I say that Heavy Rain is more of an interactive experience created into a movie rather than a game. The playstyle, story narrative, character development all do their job well and succeed in every way possible. And the things that divert this away from the game category is how the game is played. The controller layout that is usually associated with a psychological thriller title is replaced with an unorthodox control scheme. And that's not really to be confused with a difficult learning curve for the controls, but more of a casual approach created by QuanticDream. Those that have played Indigo Prophecy or Fahrenheit, as I believe it was called in Europe, will definitely feel the similarity between the two titles. David Cage, which was the lead designer for both games, just has his own method of putting a whole new controller layout on the games, and just with those two games themselves, they've been revolutionary. The 6-axis controller for the PS3, I've never used the controller like that in any other PlayStation 3 game, or in general. It's just the 6-axis just fully utilized in this game, and it's kind of exciting to see how the PlayStation Move controllers will tie in with this game. It's supposed to be coming out in about a month or so, it should be fully compatible with this game by the time it releases, so it's kind of something to look forward to. I really don't want to put too much emphasis on the controls or speak on one thing more than I have to, because to be honest, there just isn't enough time for that. There's just way too many new innovations that it's easy for one to be overlapped by the other, and something might just get left out. So I'm going to try and just talk about the things that matter. One thing I will mention is the fact that this game does an outstanding job on character development. There are times where you will sympathize with your character, which, you know, when you put yourself in the character's shoes, it leads to a more difficult decision when one has to be made. Out of the 4 playable characters, all of their scenarios were just about as nerve-wracking as the last one that you play, and there are dozens of times where you'll have about a 5-second span to try and pinpoint through which action or decision you think is best at that time, and 9 times out of 10, like, you'll still have a feeling of regret when the situation is over. It's the decisions in this game are impacted severely, not just with the campaign or scenario with one character. It's fully spread out through, like, across the board, and if you think you've made a mistake in just that person's game, it'll, you know, surely affect another player's playthrough. And it's just a really good job by David Cage by tying everything in and giving you a front seat as to what you can actually do in a game. Like, you have full control of everything that happens in the game, so it's good to see how stuff plays out. Another thing is the voice acting and the score of Heavy Rain. The actors that were cast for this role played a tremendous part when it came to the voiceovers, because every conversation that took place sounded authentic, and not once was I losing focus. And it's just a good job that it's just good that I didn't have to worry about that. You know, dialogue in these sort of games is key, because if it were done otherwise, it would have fallen victim to games like Alan Wake or Far Cry 2, like I mentioned before. And it's just good to know that it wasn't an issue at all with this game. As for the soundtrack, the overall theme and tone is more of a gloomy and heartsick type of music and feel, and the music is really atmospheric, and it sets the mood perfectly for this game. and just by listening to the soundtrack itself, you'd be able to tell that the game from front to back is just filled with suspense and just complete sadness, because I mean, there's a fucking serial killer on the loose. Like,
You're not gonna kill the
it's bound to be sad. I mean, the guy's killing people, so it's a really good soundtrack. I ended up getting it off of iTunes, and it's good. So the story is, as you guys know, I don't talk about the story too much for my reviews because I don't want to give anything away. I try to avoid spoilers as much as I can, but what I will say is that you play as 4 people. You have an FBI agent, a journalist, private investigator, and an architect, and all of them are just trying to track down and find the murderer. And the Origami Killer, which is the person responsible for all this mess, is a serial killer who uses rainfall to drown the kidnapped victims that he's had, and basically his job is just to take all 4 protagonists and just send them on a crazy ride from front to back. The whole game is just filled with mystery and suspense, and there's a lot of just twists and turns, and basically it's just an unforgettable experience. And I hope that you guys will lean a little bit more towards picking this game up when you see it, or giving it a try. I mean, even brand new, this game costs probably $65, which I think is kind of a low price considering that you're getting such an amazing experience with this game. You could, you play through it multiple times if you want to find out different endings, or I'm not sure as to how many endings there are for the game, but it's really, it branches out different ways, so it'd be cool to see how different ways play out with each character. So if you guys do come across this, please just give it a shot, give it a try. If it's not for you, then that's just as, at least you tried it out. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about this game. Heavy Rain, QuanticDream. Yeah, check it out. And thanks for listening, guys. Later.
I'll see you again, asshole.
Was that the first time? Sorry?
First time you killed somebody. It always does something to you the first time. Then you get used to it.
I'm not sure I want to get used to it.